Warning, the podcast you're about to hear has a unique conservative perspective and may be politically incorrect, containing some controversy in its message. This episode may speak out against liberalism, socialism, the dark state, and religious organizations. It is possible that evil in politics, education, law, society, and religion will be discussed and exposed. However, we believe this podcast adds truth and value to a mature, disenfranchised audience who may be tired of apostate religions and wicked world systems. Listeners who are easily offended, overly sensitive, or have progressive leanings sympathetic to the topics we expose should be forewarned not to listen any further. We thank both those who choose to listen as well as those who choose not to listen. You've been warned. And now, let us get on with the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Freedom Friday radio show.
Hello, everybody. This is Ms. Kapow, and it's June 2nd, 2017. Can you imagine? We're 6 months into the year.
And you know why? Because time is sped up. It's sped up, Ms. Kapow.
It is.
It's faster and faster. Oh, your clocks still read 24 hours. Of course they do. But the sky's different. It's sped up. If the days are not shortened, ain't no flesh going to be left. I'm telling you. They have to shorten the days. God has to shorten the days. It's over. Hey, today's show, it's very enlightening, very encouraging. I think everybody listening to Freedom Friday alternative commentary, you're going to walk out and going, you know what? I feel better about life today. You're gonna take off your headphones or your earbuds or whatever, and you're going to say, you know what? It's a wonderful world.
Very good.
You like that? I see skies of blue and chemtrails all around. Oh, see, there I go with the chemtrails, the tinfoil hat. I'm a conspiracist theorist.
Okay.
Today's show, Ms. Kapow, is called The Bottomless Pit.
The Bottomless Pit.
The Bottomless Pit. Because, hey, we're experiencing those things coming from the bottomless pit. You think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. Mm-mm. The scripture in Revelation, Ms. Kapow's going to read a scripture in Revelation here in a second. But it talks about the angel that in Hebrew is called Abaddon, which means destruction. Destruction. But in the Greek, he's called Apollyon or Apollo. Well, this angel has the key, quote unquote, key to the bottomless pit. And he goes down there, he opens this thing up, smoke comes out, and in this smoke is all this demonic horde upon the face of the earth. So you're saying, well, I understand that, Brother Kapow, but I'm going to be in the rapture. I'm going to be long gone before that happens. Maybe we are, maybe we're not. I don't know. Maybe my timing's off. But there's nowhere in that scripture says that it all happens at one time either. Maybe it happens over a period. My stupid, worthless opinion is we're seeing this stuff now. We're seeing it slowly, steadily, not even so slowly, but steadily being released. Mm-hmm. There's definitely a change in our world. There's a change almost daily. But folks, it doesn't take much. Just slow down for a little bit, close your eyes, start contemplating this stuff, and think back. It's different than it was last year.
Yeah.
It's different than it was 5 years ago. Definitely different since 2008.
Definitely.
It's very different since 2012. It's different, folks. Things are different. The technology has made things different. People behave different. They talk different. The world is different. It's really upside down and very, very evil.
Gosh.
Very, very.
That's like an understatement.
Yes. Very, very dark. Very, very dark times. And I don't know how long the sin will be filled up before the end, but I'm telling you, I know we're at the precipice. I know we're at the precipice. So, I'll explain it to you on the way up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I know we're there. And those of you who have been listening to the Enoch series, you know that the book of Enoch was written for this generation, for the very last generation, the one that would be living in the trials, the temptations, and the tribulation. It wasn't understood. It was understood very much by the first century church, and then the Satanists called the Catholic Church, because they were Satanists.
The Jesuits.
The Jesuits, the Catholic Church, the Pope, they're Satanists. They worship Satan. That has nothing to do with Christianity. They're Satanists. They buried everything they could bury. They hate the Word of God, which reminds me, I don't want to get soundtracked. There's a super, super good documentary. It's about 3 hours long, so it's going to take some time. It's called Tares in the Wheat?
The Tares Among the Wheat.
Tares Among the Wheat.
I believe.
I don't know where you can get it except Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it for free. That's where we got it. And this is our second time through it, and I'm telling you, it is a great, great documentary, and it documents the Word of God, the Bible, from the very beginning, and you will see what the Catholic Church and what the Jesuits have done, and the Word of God has always been their enemy. And then you'll understand why we have so many translations and goofy stuff today, because they couldn't get rid of the Bible. They tried. They couldn't get rid of it, but they incorporated it and diluted it and corrupted it. And that's why you have so many people today who don't read it or understand it. So anyway, that's a little side note there. But Enoch is written for that last generation. The Catholic Church don't understand it. The academics don't understand it. They try to read it like Moby Dick. They don't believe it anyway. But if you're righteous and chosen, you'll understand it. If you're righteous and chosen one for the last days, if you're the elect, you listen to our shows, you'll understand it. It'll begin to burn a fire in you. You'll understand what we're saying. We're at the last. We're at the last. And it starts to make sense. Everything starts to fall into place because you couldn't see it before. You're looking through a glass darkly. But now, as it comes to fruition, you see it and you go, this is that. Spoken of by the prophet Enoch. This is that, right?
That's right.
So, the bottomless pit in Revelation, this angel, Abaddon, the destroyer, also called in the Greek Apollo, the destroyer, releases demonic hordes. He has a key to the bottomless pit. Now, I'm spitballing here, and I just want to run this by you. I'm spitballing here. CERN. CERN is in Switzerland, but part of CERN is in France. Part of CERN is in France, on the border of France. Actually, in the country of France. I don't remember the name of the town offhand. I wouldn't be able to pronounce it correctly anyway. But it is derived from Apollo or Apollyon, the name of the French town. You're going to have to look this up because I can't remember the name of the town. Like I said, I wouldn't pronounce it right anyway. And it is believed that there was an ancient temple to Apollo there at that location, and that there is a gateway or a portal there to the underground. I don't make this up. So isn't it interesting that CERN would put its facilities, the largest man-made machine. This is the largest man-made machine, is there in Switzerland and France under CERN, and it's your Large Hadron Collider. And all of you know what CERN is. All of you should know what it's doing. It's smashing these particles to open up interdimensional gateways, alternative universes, to capture this energy, this dark matter. They do it under the guise of science, but it isn't science. It's magic.
That's right.
It's religion and magic, and it comes from the fallen ones. That's what it is. Absolutely. And if you're not real familiar with CERN, please research it. There's a lot of good videos out there on YouTube. There's a lot of people talking about it, and some real good people who know a whole lot more than I do. But it's a very real thing that they're doing. So I want you to think about this. Part of their land, part of their complex is in France over an ancient temple of Apollo. And they say that there used to be an ancient temple there, and that there was belief that it was a portal to the underworld. Apollyon. The Bible says that was his name in Greek, but in Hebrew it's Abaddon, the destroyer. Well, on the other side of the border in Switzerland, CERN, their mascot, right in front of their buildings, is the Hindu god Shiva. And that is the god that destroys the universe. He's known as the destroyer god. Now, don't you think that's quite a coincidence?
It's amazing.
That the book of Revelation would say that this angel had a key to the bottomless pit and released this demonic horde of locusts upon mankind, and that his name was the destroyer. And in Greek, it's Apollo. And then they built this thing over a portal of the bottomless pit, and his name is Apollo. And on the other side, his name is the destroyer, Shiva. Wow. Hey, can you do that on purpose, or is that coincidental?
Nope.
It doesn't. I'm just spitballing here. Think about it, folks. And CERN has the Large Hadron Collider, and they're smashing these particles, trying to open up these portals. It's black magic is all it is. It's magic.
That's right.
Under the guise of science. These are the same people who are atheists who don't believe God created the world, but they believe in interdimensional beings.
Yeah.
That's why you hear all the alien talk now and all this ghost talk and all this stuff. Science has reverted back to its superstitious nature, but it's magic.
Isn't that funny? Now, I think that's funny how it's come full circle.
Absolutely. You know? Yeah, at one point, the age of reason, they would have said, oh, that's not reasonable. We don't believe that. But they'll do that with the Bible, you know, or the book of Enoch. That's not reasonable. That could be written by Enoch. How could it be written by Enoch?
Right.
And so here are these scientists, and CERN is run by the European Union, and America is there just as an observer. But it's a national thing.
Oh, yes, definitely.
There's billions and billions of dollars invested into this machine and into these projects.
Yeah, it's that's the producer.
Yeah,
and her sidekick.
Producer getting mad, like, get on with the news.
Yeah.
Quit talking about CERN. This ain't a show about CERN. It's about the news. But it all ties in. Hang in there.
Yep. It's a global. CERN is a global project.
Yes, and they are opening other dimensions. They're opening other realms. Interdimensional beings are coming through. I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff on this. So I'm spitballing here, but don't you find it coincidental that these people have a mascot that's called a destroyer? By the way, Shiva's destroyer of the universe, only in the sense that once that universe is destroyed, then the new universe could be brought in.
Yeah. Madame Blavatsky and Alice Bailey, they write about that. And Alan P. Hall, or whatever his name is. What is it? Manly P. Hall. Mm-hmm. They write about that stuff.
And that's the whole purpose. So it's not just destruction for the sake of destruction. It's to bring in the new order. Mm-hmm. And America, we're built on that. We're built on order out of chaos. The New World Order. I mean, that's not, you hear that all the time. But that's exactly what this is. It's a spiritual new order. These entities, these fallen angels, they really do believe they're making a run for it to actually destroy God and actually circumvent those prophecies and those things God said would be. Mm-hmm. Had they known about Jesus, they would have never killed him. Had they known that his death would have been a sacrifice for all mankind, and that he would have went and defeated all his enemies, and he's up there in the process of making all his enemies to sit under him, under his footstool. He's in the process of making that. Had they known that, they would have never enticed the Jews to murder him.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I always say, God is a better chess player than Satan. So
absolutely. And he's
Checkmate.
made his plan clear to those who are able to see it. And that's why we love the book of Enoch in the last days, because you can see the plan. It makes sense now. It goes with Revelation. It makes Daniel make sense. It's the key. But these fallen ones, they can't see it. They don't have the wisdom of God. They're not chosen. They're not elect. And they honestly think they can circumvent it. And everything they do is actually bringing in the end, the demise, which can't be soon enough. This place is done. It's over with.
Finished.
It's done. This world is done. It's just filling up the iniquity, and I don't know, where the max line is, but it's pretty close to that max line. So I just find it interesting that you have CERN, whose job is to open up portals, smashing these particles, looking for black matter, looking for ultra universes and dimensions, sitting in a place that used to be an old temple of Apollo, and on the other side it's Shiva the Destroyer. It goes right with Revelation. And CERN, those scientists, they have the key. The key to what? To the bottomless pit. They have the key to that interdimension. Now, I'm going to have Ms. Kapow read that scripture, and then I'm going to have her read out of the book of Jubilees. Because the book of Jubilees has information in there that's not contained in our biblical text about demons. In fact, our biblical text never addresses demons or where they come from, because it's just assumed that everybody knew where they came from, because they did know where it came from in ancient Jewish history. Up to the 1st century and even the 2nd century, they knew where demons came from because they read books like Jubilee and Enoch. They knew that the demons were the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim, of the giants. Everybody knew that. Jesus comes on scene and he starts rebuking them and casting them out and shutting them up and everything. They knew who Jesus was. See, so the Bible doesn't explain that. Paul doesn't take the time to explain that to his readers because they know that. But over 2,000 years later, we're reading it, and the people are just now discovering that stuff just now. But
because that knowledge was suppressed.
Yeah, it was suppressed. And in the times past, you would never hear a pastor or a preacher talk about this stuff. So, but it's important to know where they come from, because you got to know how to defeat them. So anyway, in the Bible, you just have demons hanging out. But in the book of Enoch and the book of Jubilees, they tell you where they come from. They're the disembodied spirits. They're bound to the earth. I've been over this a million times. I'm not going to do it all over again, but they're bound to the earth. They're earth spirits because they came out of immortal angels mixing with mortal humans. Hybrids, right? Mm-hmm. So their spirits can't resurrect. Their spirits can't be saved. They're reprobate. They're what the Old Testament calls bastards. They can't be saved. They're Rephaim. They're shadows. So they can't be saved. So they're bound to the earth. But Enoch and Jubilee say that they will lead men astray with impunity. They can't be punished until that day that everything's consummated, to the day of the Lord comes and the judgment day comes. Then they can be punished and they'll be thrown in a lake of fire. But up to that point, we're stuck with them.
Yeah.
So there's a story, and I don't mean a fictitious story. I'm talking a narrative in Jubilee, because I believe the book of Jubilees and I believe the book of Enoch. That's why I can understand this stuff, because I start from a position of belief, not a position of doubt. Because a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. I'm not double-minded. There's a narrative in the book of Jubilees that states that God had ordered his angels to gather up these disembodied spirits and to bind them. And that in the book of Jubilees, Satan, what you would call Satan or Lucifer or the head guy, some call him Shamaza or Azazel. There's a lot of names for this evil entity. But in the book of Jubilees, his name is Mastema. And Mastema goes to the Lord, goes to God and says, if you take all of these evil spirits and bind them into the underground, I'm not going to have any tools left to lead mankind astray. See, they hate mankind. They want to prove that mankind was a horrible, horrible decision, a horrible decision for God to create. That mankind fell. He had free will, and he fell in the garden, and he fell when the sons of God mated with the daughters of men, and they're easy to lead astray. They want to prove that. That's why the Satans are called the accusers. They're always accusing the human at the throne of God. You understand?
Yeah, and plus there was a jealousy because when they had committed that first sin, they asked Enoch to ask God for forgiveness, and there was none.
Yes.
But here God would forgive us humans who are lesser than the angels.
Yes, but would not forgive the watchers. And also there's other ancient texts that say that when God created man, or Adam, he required all the angels to bow down to him because that was God's creation in his image. And Mastema, or Satan, refused to bow down in rebellion. So Mastema and his fallen ones, they need demons to lead humans astray. Demons deceive. They do war on humans. They create illness and disease. They do a lot of different things. But their big job is deception, and they want to lead astray the human away from God into idolatry of any sort, which is usually, it's easy to do. Humans love worshiping anything but God. Well, the narrative in Jubilees has Mastema going to God, and it says, if you bind all of these spirits, I won't have any tools to lead mankind astray. And so God allowed 10% of the disembodied spirits, what we call demons, to remain on the earth, to be used by Mastema, Satan, Lucifer, whatever you want to call him. 10%. That means 90% of them are bound in a bottomless pit. 90%. So I want you to think about this. If CERN is in fact the key, is in fact being run by the fallen angel Apollo or Abaddon, and is in fact has the key to the bottomless pit, and is releasing these hordes of demonic locusts on mankind, there's 90% of them down there. We have 10% now in this world. Look around you. Think how it's going to be when you have 100% here. We have 10%. Look at the evil around you. What's going to happen? How is it going to look when you have 80% demons, 90% demons, 100% unleashed? Mm-hmm. You don't want to be here. I'm telling you. And the biggest obstacle for people right now is unbelief. They don't believe the words of God. That's the biggest obstacle for people to get over, to see what's going on around them. They don't want to believe the words of God.
That's right.
Okay, Ms. Kapow, we are going to do the news, and the news all goes with what I've just said. All right, the bottomless pit. We're going to talk about some of this behavior, and it gets worse and worse. And this is why I firmly believe more and more of these things are being released on the earth. Mm-hmm. But we already had 10% of them. I have no idea what percentage we have now, but it's going to increase until we're out of here.
That's right.
Until the righteous and elect that are really holding and hindering everything, until we're removed, then it's all literally going to go to hell. Literally going to go to hell. All right, Ms. Kapow, you want to do Revelation and...
Sure. Revelation chapter 9. We're going to do 1 through 11. It says, "And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key to the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men. And they had their hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. And they had breastplates as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots, as of many horses running to battle. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. Verse 11, and they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollon. Now I will go to the book of Jubilee, and it's the 10th chapter, and I'm going to read verses 8 and 9. And the chief of spirits, Mastema, came and said, Yahweh, Creator, let some of them remain before me, and let them listen to my voice, and do all that I shall say unto them. For if some of them are not left to me, I shall not be able to execute the power of my will on the sons of men. For these are for corruption and leading astray before my judgment. For great is the wickedness of the sons of men. And he said, Let the 10th part of them remain upon him, and let 9 parts descend into the place of condemnation.
So a 10th part left with Mastema, so he can lead men astray, because he says the son of men are just evil. So this will help me lead them astray. And a 9th part, that means 90% are in the bottomless pit. And then you have in Revelation, the angel Apollyon, or Apollo, or Abaddon, the destroyer, with the key to the bottomless pit, unleashing these things on the earth. And they're going to do all kinds of havoc and harm for 5 months. Mm-hmm. Could it be we're seeing the beginning of this? We're seeing every time that CERN fires up and smashes particles and opens a little portal, something comes through. Every time something comes through. And of course, our time is changing, and our perception and our universe, our memories, things like that change also. Mm-hmm. Daniel says about the Antichrist figure that he will seek to change times. That means moeds, appointed times. That he will try to actually change the time. I don't believe that's Antiochus IV trying to change the Jewish calendar. I think that's way too small thinking. I think it's a fallen angel trying to change time, literally trying to change time, trying to change the sky. Yeah.
I know, isn't that amazing?
And our perceptions of reality, our reality changes. I'm not joking.
No.
Tinfoil hat stuff, but I'm not joking. Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. But when we come back, we're going to talk about this idiot. He's a clown with a machete in California. But I'm going to tell you why, even more why he's an idiot. We're going to talk about this 16-year-old girl for no reason who kills an Uber driver. The details of that. Here's some dude who likes to throw semen on women.
You.
We got some feminists who are suing the university because they feel threatened over social media. And then you have, we'll talk about these students. They're black students at a college, and they're having a meltdown. They want to have a day without white people, And then the white professors and stuff don't think that's cool. They think that's racist. And then so there's a bunch of protests. But the videos on this are pretty disturbing because they have some white faculty members, really kind of pinned up against the door and just yelling at her and chanting at her while they're filming this. And it looks pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty bad. It's very demonic. So we're going to take a commercial and we'll be right back.
Kapow! You are listening to the Kapow Radio Show Network. Kapow stands for Kingdom Against Powers of Wickedness. Kapow is sponsored by Fifth Media, a digital publisher of ebooks. FifthHookMedia.com has a selection of ebooks about spiritual warfare and Christian living. Visit FifthHookMedia.com. That's FIFTHOOK Media.com. Remember, that's FifthHookMedia.com. FIFTHOOK.
What's up, yo? I like it. I'm done, yo.
Demons in My Marriage Bed from all online digital retailers, such as Amazon.com. Demons in My Marriage Bed, a true story of spiritual warfare, changed the way my spouse and I conduct spiritual battle, and has increased our alertness level to the tactics of Satan. Please do not be fooled that such things cannot happen to you. Rather, get prepared and become the spiritual warrior needed to overcome in these perilous times in which we all live.
We are back. We are back, Ms. Kapow.
Yay!
And I think 1.6% demons just got released on the commercial break. According to my underground sources at CERN. Okay, this is from heatstreet.com, so it has to be true. Machete-wielding clown terrorizes drivers along California highway. And so you say, well, Brother Kapow, that's old news. Clowns are out there. Clowns have been doing stupid things all the time.
But nay, not like this one.
Yeah, and then the police, my goodness, the sheriff's deputies, how they handle this, it just boggles my mind because I come from law enforcement in the 80s and 90s when cops were still cops and they could do what they had to do. And this is ridiculous that they didn't take care of this guy. I just find it, I sense fear all in them because they don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to get sued or I don't know. They're just weak. Creepy clown. A clown dressed in a colorful blue suit was spotted standing along Highway 101 in California, and he was holding what appeared to be a bloody machete over his head. Keep that in mind, a bloody machete. And then I want to ask you if there's somebody standing there and they have what appears to be a bloody machete. Is that threatening to you to any degree?
Yeah.
Do you think that's like a tool, like a screwdriver, like he's just using the machete to cut down brush along the freeway?
No.
No. The way he's dressed, the behavior, all points to aggression, intimidation, fear, right? Mm-hmm. A bloody machete over his head. And so, needless to say, this idiot freaked out quite a few drivers, and they called 911 asking for help. Because you call 911 because you want the police to show up and help you, right? Yeah. Well, not in Monterey County. Monterey County, now that's Northern California, folks. So law enforcement in Northern California, I'm serious, is a lot different than Southern California. Yes. They're two different worlds.
Yep.
And when we used to go to school, and we would go to school in Northern California for a school, and we'd hang around the Northern California cops, they're a whole different breed. You know, they're wearing Birkenstocks and, drinking lattes and stuff. And California cops still drink beer. I'm just saying, there's a big difference. So this is Monterey County, and I think they're a little light in the loafers. I really do. Because the cops, they're not even cops, they're deputies, they're sheriff's deputies. There's a difference. They arrive on the scene with guns. They handcuff and question the clown guy. And this really blew my mind when I found this out. How old would you think somebody would be to put on a clown suit, have a bloody machete, and stand there and freak out drivers?
The majority probably under 40, maybe.
Yeah, I would think even younger. I mean, I think you would be a kid, maybe, 17, 18, maybe early 20s if you're a loser, right?
Okay.
Not Larry. His name is Larry Tovey. Larry Tovey's 61 years old.
Wow.
61 years old. What is a 61-year-old man thinking when he puts on a clown suit with a bloody machete and stands there in a California highway?
He's a late bloomer with the men's midlife crisis. I don't know.
Who knows? Once again, think about the bottomless pit and being open. These people are demonized. Yeah. This is not behavior that anybody would find normal a year ago.
That's right.
And then the writer of this article says, while his tomfoolery certainly didn't amuse motorists, the man was not charged. You know why? Because no one was directly threatened by him with the machete. No one was directly threatened by him with the machete, so he wasn't charged.
That's crazy.
But they just said that a bunch of motorists called 911 because they wanted help. Mm-hmm. Maybe they kind of felt threatened, or they wouldn't have called 911.
Yeah.
And then the department explained on Facebook, on their little Facebook page, that's how they communicate, before adding that the blood on the tool was just cotton with red dye. That's all it was. It wasn't real blood. It was just cotton with the red dye. And so here's what they say, quote, just carrying it doesn't make it a deadly weapon. The sheriff's deputies wrote on their Facebook page. And here's what they say. It's actually a tool. And since he didn't use it as a deadly weapon to threaten someone, there was no crime.
Wow.
Are we living in a parallel universe or what? This is not normal law enforcement behavior either. Mm-mm. I know California law. I was in law enforcement in California for almost 30 years. I know the law. This is a crime. It is a deadly weapon. And the way he's displaying it, and the way he has blood on it, and the way he's dressed, and the way he's intimidating drivers is a crime. Mm-hmm. It might only be a misdemeanor, but it's a crime.
Yeah.
It's a crime. He's exhibiting a deadly weapon. But they say it's a tool. When is a machete become a tool? When someone's in a clown suit with blood on it, even if it's fake blood, in the freeway? When is that a tool? Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? It's a parallel. It's not the way it was.
That's right.
It's totally upside down. It's like last week we read that one article where they made light of everything. Everything was like about he was another clown, that Joker guy in Colorado. He was doing the same thing, pointing a gun at people. And the writer was just kind of making fun of it and real light. What's the same thing this guy does? Tomfoolery. No crime. So they take the 61-year-old idiot, Larry Tovey, to a psychiatric evaluation. Oh, I'm sorry. They don't do that. They do, the cops, because I don't know when they got trained in psychiatry, because when I went to the academy, they didn't give you training in psychiatry, because if they did, I would have been dispensing meds instead of driving a police car. But a psychiatric evaluation was performed at the scene. How did they do that? But officers quickly determined the only thing Tovey suffers from was a twisted sense of humor. Really?
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
How? Oh, I get so irritated. How in the world do sheriff deputies do a psychiatric evaluation on scene? How?
I don't know.
What do they have? The little, the butterfly test? Do they do the MPP personality profile thing? How do they do that?
It's a good question.
They call Dr. Phil. So they go on and says, it stands to reason he may have threatened someone. But we don't have any information on that, the sheriff continued. So we may not arrest on what he might have done. And then the police have advised other mischievous clowns to stay away from the highway. And that's it. Now, I guarantee you, if somebody would have ran this clown over, they would have been in handcuffs and they would have been hauled off to jail and treated like a criminal.
Oh, definitely.
That's ridiculous. It's a bottomless pit, man. You got to understand, a bottomless pit, I mean, you have the demon hordes coming out, but it's changing things because they're opening universes, so they're overlapping. Things are different.
Yep. And what strikes me is it's the bottomless pit. There's no bottom.
Yeah. There is no bottom. It just keeps going forever. Mm-hmm. So we don't know how many disembodied spirits of the Nephi are down there, but there was enough Nephi and enough hybridization, also with animals, not just with humans. They also compromised the fish, the birds, reptiles, everything else. Mm-hmm. There was enough where God destroyed the entire planet with a flood, and only 8 pure souls were saved. So there's quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And you got to remember, they come from fallen angel. They're part fallen angel, part human. So, they're deceptive and they're powerful and they're strong and they're very violent, obviously. Okay, speaking of machetes, and here's a machete that wasn't used as a tool, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And plus, this girl wasn't dressed as a clown. Now, had she done this crime in California, they might have just patted her off and said, well, she got a crazy sense of humor. She just wanted to kill somebody that day. I mean, does that make it bad? This is from Chicago.
Terrible. It's just terrible.
It is. Horrible what she did. A teenage girl from Chicago, she's been charged with killing an Uber driver. For no reason whatsoever. Just a random attack. She just attacked this man with a knife and a machete. A tool. I'm sorry. A tool. A machete is just a tool. A knife is just a tool. According to Monterey County sheriffs. She attacks this guy with a machete she'd just stolen from Walmart. Her name is Elisa Wasney. There's no picture of her, so I can't tell you what she looks like.
That's why.
Yeah, she's 16 years old. She kept her eyes mostly to the floor Wednesday afternoon as a Cook County judge ordered her held without bail for the killing of Grant Nelson. A heinous and not provoked in any manner crime. Nelson, who's 34 years old, he picked up Washington early Tuesday a few blocks from the Walmart. And minutes into the ride, and near the corner of some streets there, she began stabbing him. And then he managed to pull over his Hyundai, and he ran to a nearby condominium building. He was pushing on buzzers. He was yelling, help me, I'm going to die. And then stupid Washney, the 16-year-old clown killer with a machete tool, took off in the car. But then she got in a wreck. Then she ran on foot. And then the cops found her nearby wearing just a bra and leggings. A blood-stained Chicago Cubs shirt was found nearby, and a trail of blood led them to the condominium lobby and then to the seriously injured Uber driver. And so they were able to use the Uber app on his phone to see that Elisa was the name of the most recent customer. And they called Nelson a random victim. Yeah. And unfortunately, he described the attacker to the police, but then died later at a nearby hospital.
So sad.
So he died. Surveillance footage shows this gal at Walmart walking around the store with a knife and a machete, and then she left without paying for them.
No.
Yeah. So for no reason whatsoever that we know of, just got in the car and killed this guy. I'm wondering if it was a hate crime. They don't show a picture of the gal, but the driver's white. It just makes you wonder. Demonic hordes, bottomless pit. A 16-year-old girl, really? And then in court, she just has her head down. She's not saying anything. I mean, it's just totally bizarre behavior.
Very.
This is just the beginning, folks. Can you imagine when they're really all unleashed?
Yeah, because right now it's just 10%.
Yeah. And maybe increasing a little bit. CERN's like popping open the portal a little bit, until they get that key fully open. Holy moly. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be here.
No way.
I mean, I'm telling you, everybody's going to go absolutely nuts and demonized. Okay, let's talk about demon number 3. Demon number 3 in a flesh suit. The bottomless pit is opening. Here's a guy who decides
yuck,
that it's a good thing to throw semen.
He's just throwing his love around.
He's throwing his love around. He thinks it's a good idea to throw semen on women. The article doesn't say so don't ask me how he's doing this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Use your imagination.
Or not.
Or not. This guy, police arrested a dude who was suspected of throwing semen on women in Portland area stores. Portland. That's the same the city that wouldn't allow the white women to make tacos because it was culturally misappropriation or something like that. But not here. Manuel Benuelas Acala. Oh, that's a Hispanic, folks. There's no law against him.
Yeah.
He's 47 years old from Beaverton. Mm-hmm. He's arrested in a parking lot of a Safeway store on suspicion of third-degree sex abuse.
Wow. I didn't know they come in degrees.
I didn't either. That's Portland. That's Oregon, so I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. Detectives learned after his arrest that he likely threw semen on another woman inside a Safeway store. So can you imagine that? Here you are grocerying.
Oh, no. That'd be so nasty.
And this ugly dude, Manuel, walks up behind you and throws a little something your way.
Ugh. Butchie. Nasty.
A police spokeshole previously said a man, since identified as Manuel, is suspected of such activity at Lamb's Garden Home Marketplace, which is a Kmart. So he likes going to grocery stores. That's because women are there, and throw his semen around. Let's see. They publicized the semen throwing cases, and several women contacted detectives to say they were victims of the same dude. So now they're doing a follow-up. They've arrested the guy when someone saw him in a car description in the parking lot, and so they got him without incident. And they're also looking for people that he may have thrown semen at who didn't realize it.
Can you imagine? How could you not realize it? But yeah.
It's like, well, he just walked by and flicked his wrist, or, acting weird, but you didn't really see it,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I mean, dude, that's out there behavior, man. That's demon behavior. And it comes in all sizes. It comes in violence, and it comes in stupidity. It comes in violence like the 6-year-old girl. It comes in stupidity like a 61-year-old clown. And it comes in stupidity like this next article. Feminists sue university for failing to protect them from mean internet comments. Mm-hmm. I lie not. This is from Breitbart.com. A feminist student group at the University of Mary Washington has filed a Title IV lawsuit against the institution for failing to protect them from mean comments on the internet.
I guess the safe space isn't enough now.
No. But, they can say whatever they want.
Yeah.
They're feminists. They can say whatever they want, be anti-man. They can be whatever, cut Trump's head off. Mm-hmm. They can do that, bloody head. What an idiot. Kathy Griffin. I wasn't going to even talk about her, but Kathy Griffin, what an idiot. And then the Church of Satan even denounced her. The Church of Satan says,
pretty bad,
we
right?
don't want nothing to do with her. Yeah. you know you're an a-hole to the 10th degree when the Satanists don't want nothing to do with you. Oh, my goodness.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. She might as well just take a machete as a tool and just fall on it right now. Mm-hmm. That would be my suggestion. Feminists United, a student group at the University of Mary Washington, has claimed in a recently filed lawsuit that the administration failed to protect them from posts made on the anonymous social media app Yik Yak.
Yik yak.
They were using Yik Yak. And here's what they alleged. That the university didn't protect them by refusing to ban access to the app via the university's Wi-Fi system. What? So the complaint ignores the reality that most students have access to the app via LTE internet, cell service on their cellular devices, which would render a ban on the university's Wi-Fi system almost worthless. Mm-hmm. In other words, you can get to the app the other way. And the students claimed that the university's decision to allow students to access the app via the school's Wi-Fi network fostered a hostile environment in which the students were subjected to overtly and or sexist threatening anonymous messages. Oh, and here they are feminists, but they don't like it.
No.
The other way. So anyway, writing on the lawsuit for the Foundation for Individual Rights and Education, or FIRE, Susan Kruth argued that the university did not violate Title IV policies by refusing to act on comments made on the anonymous app Yip Yak, which was recently shut down in May. And I love what she wrote. She says, universities should respond to true threats and to serious allegations of sexual harassment. Mm. And they can provide non-punitive resources to people who encounter offensive speech. But to the extent that remarks are merely sexist or offensive, a public university must recognize that such language is protected under the First Amendment and decline to take unlawful steps to censor it. Throughout their complaint, the plaintiffs conflate alleged threats and a pattern of conduct that they claim deprived them of educational benefits with remarks or behavior that made them uncomfortable.
Oh, for the love of
We couldn't study. We couldn't study our women's studies because they were calling us stupid. Yik yak, I hate yik yak.
Wow. Very annoying. Very annoying.
Yeah.
This kind of stuff's annoying me.
Oh my God. Oh, it's just the generation coming up. There's not going to be one. It's over. Thank God. But they're out of control. Mm-hmm. Last story. This is very annoying. It's more annoying if you watch the video. So if you really want to be annoyed, go to our Facebook page, Fifth Hook Media, Facebook, FIFTHOOK Media, Facebook. Follow it, like it, love it, do whatever you guys do on Facebook, and because we post all this stuff on there. And this will have the videos. So once you see the videos, you'll understand just how serious and dangerous this was, or is. This is college melts down over plan for white people free day on campus. And I was thinking about that, and I was saying, can you imagine a day without white people? I mean, where I live, it'd be like, where all the white people at? Yeah, it'd be really sad.
It'd be very sad.
It'd be really sad, After protesters at a Washington State college called for a day without white people. Could you imagine that?
It'd be funny if it wasn't true.
Yeah,
you know
we
what I'm
want
saying?
a day without white people. What? Now that's not racist. Can you imagine if whites said, we want a day without black people? Oh, by the way, all these students are black. There's no Asians. There's no Hispanics. There's no, Kurds. Mm-hmm. They're all blacks. I don't understand. Or support any of this cause because they ruin it for anybody that has legitimate reasons.
Yeah, they make it.
They ruin it for those people that have a legitimate complaint.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
So after protesters at a Washington State college called for a day without white people, a biology professor says he no longer feels safe on campus. As student activists complain they're being vilified by conservative media. Evergreen State College students said racial tensions have been simmering in recent weeks, but reached a boiling point when a faculty member disagreed with their plans to protest what they say is institutional racism at the Olympia campus. Students were particularly incensed by an email that surfaced on Twitter on May 25th between Professor Britt Weinstein and Rashida Love, director of First Peoples Multicultural Advising Services. Wow, that's quite a job. Weinstein, who was white, allegedly condemned the day of absence, that means no white people, event that asked white people to leave campus for the day.
See, that is so annoying.
He called the day an act of oppression in and of itself and said he would visit campus in spite of the demonstration. He said, if there was interest in a public presentation and discussion of race through a scientific revolutionary lens, I would be quite willing to organize such an event. That's what Weinstein said. In a YouTube video posted on May 27, a group of students is heard calling for Weinstein to be fired. Demonstrations have involved as many as 200 students pouring into classrooms and the school president's office. They yell, hey, hey, ho, ho, these racist teachers have got to go. They chanted that. Now, when you watch this video, it's really sad because you see this white woman. I don't know if she's a secretary. I don't know if she's trying to protect the president's office or if she's a teacher, a professor. I don't know. But she's standing at this closed door, and they're 4 to 5 feet away from her. I mean, a group of very threatening students, blacks, and they're very threatening, and they're filming this, and they got their phones, and they're yelling at her, chanting this, hey, hey, ho, ho, blah, blah, blah. And you should see the look on her face. Probably like any moment they're going to tear me from limb to limb. It's not cool. That's not the way to do it. But that's demons. They're demon possessed. Their minds are taken over, right? It's a demonic takeover of the mind. It's the bottomless pit. The portals are open. This isn't normal.
No.
It's a new normal. It's not the same. Weinstein was told that not to go on campus for safety reasons. So now he can't. He said he was going to go in there and said, screw this ain't right. But now they're going to kill him. Mm-hmm. I've been told by the chief of police it's not safe for me to be on campus.
See? Now, to me, that's not right.
Well, yeah, what would be right is maybe have the police go on campus with him.
Yeah.
To make the point, right?
Right.
Because this guy's now a victim. He just wants to go to work. The station notes that Weinstein has spoken out in this year against increasing the role race plays in the admissions process. Multiple protest videos have been picked up by conservative media outlets, but the students disagree with the coverage, calling the footage edited. Well, what I saw was footage that they filmed themselves, and it looks horrible. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how the conservative people are editing some white woman looking like she's about to be torn limb from limb by a bunch of crazed, animals. Mm-hmm. They say, we demand that the video created for Day of Absence and Day of Presence that was stolen by white supremacists and edited to expose and ridicule the students and staff be taken down by the administration by this Friday.
Jeez.
They said in a statement. And I guess if they don't, what then? What are you going to do? Riot? Burn the school down? Is that what you're going to do? That's all you know how to do?
They do everything by violence.
Bunch of idiots. Anyway, demonic takeover. Semen throwing people. Feminists. Stupid racists at college, 61-year-old clowns, and of course a 16-year-old murderer for no reason with a machete.
Jiminy.
And you have CERN in Switzerland and France. You have Apollo. You have Abaddon. You have the Destroyer. You have a portal. You have scientists working on the keys to that portal. And you have a prophecy in Revelation talking about the angel with the keys to the bottomless pit. And there's going to be hordes of these locust demon things that are going to come out. And the torment's going to be so great that men are going to beg to die, but they can't.
That's right.
They can't die. They're going to beg to die, but they can't. And then you have the ancient book of Jubilees saying, hey, I'll leave you 10% of them to help you deceive mankind. Test them. Mm-hmm. The 90% are going down, but it looks like they're being released.
Creepy.
That's the good news. Now for the bad news. That was the good news.
Believe it or not.
Yeah. Now the bad news is we're out of here. We're done. No more Freedom Friday. We're done for this week. I know.
It seems
they're crying.
Wow.
Well, the time's going faster, so now they get Freedom Friday like quicker. It seems. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of cool. All right. I'm going to go think positive thoughts.
Think positive thoughts.
What's that scripture that says, whatever's pure, whatever's lovely, whatever, think on these things? Mm-hmm. I'm going to go do that.
All right.
So I'm going to look at a picture of you, Miss Capel.
Aw.
Oh, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. All right. Either that or a cheeseburger. One of the two.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Pizza does too. All right. Give him a ciao.
Ciao, babies.